Boom, shakalaka boom. You tuned in to the free range human show of choice, your daily dose of reality radio. It starts when? Right now. I am live here in the Men's Health and Women's Wellness of Mississippi studios out here on the campus of WYAB at the Cotton Exchange Plaza in Flora, Mississippi, right here in God's country, Madison County, which is also shares God's country with Rankin County, because it's certainly not Hinds County. Hope everybody's doing good this morning. We're streaming worldwide and live in stunning HD at Save JXN on Facebook, X, and YouTube. It's at Clay Edwards Show on the free speech platform, ever growing. We've almost got as many viewers on Rumble now as we do on YouTube. But don't get me wrong, it ain't a whole lot of people. I mean, let's call a spade here. People are kind of busy at 7 in the morning, but by the end of the day, the shows do pretty well. I mean, hey, look, bro, I get it. But, you know, we do have tens of thousands of people listening on the big stick, 103.9 FM, WYAB. But I do love doing the video stuff because I love being able to, it's a direct way to communicate with the viewers. I mean, we got 400 or 500 people that watch this live stream all in every morning on video. It is a radio show first and foremost, but we do have fun taking that content that we get from the videos and being able to clip it up and put it out there as reels and all of that. So you got to mind this content. You know, if you're going to make money and do this for a living and grow this platform, you got to take this content and you got to mix it up, cut it up, put it out there every way imaginable. Like I said, I'm from the new school when it comes to this. I believe you take your content to the people. Don't anticipate the people coming to your content. That's why you see my stuff everywhere. I mean, you got to block me in a bunch of different places to get Clay Edwards off your news feed, to get Save Jackson off your news feed. I mean, because I'm coming at it from every angle, at least 12, 13, 14 times a day. I mean, it's just nonstop. I broke up with my girlfriend, and I'm in a full-time relationship with my career. That's only half true. Actually, that's completely true. There's nothing half true about it. It just sounded really sad after I said it out loud. I practiced that line in my head. Like, this is going to tell people how dedicated I am. Full Vincent Kennedy McMahon here. And that sounded way more pathetic than I thought it would. But hey, you know what? 48 years old, man. I'm well beyond the halfway point. The next few years, they got to count. I didn't save wisely. I didn't invest wisely. So I am starting from scratch on my retirement fund today. So we got to make it count, brother. Got to make it count. All right, look. The Guns and Gear text line is 769-241-1944. I want to tell y'all this real quick about the Guns and Gear text line. Y'all are never bothering me when you text, but I do get a lot of text during the other shows. Again, not bothering me. I'm just letting y'all know the other hosts do not get those. So if they're not returning your text or replying to you on the air, it's because they don't get those. Those only come to my phone. That's a Clay Edwards Show exclusive, that phone number. I'm sure the other guys, I think some of them have text lines and whatnot, but you'll want to reach out to them or listen and see what those numbers are. I would have loved for us to have all had one cohesive text line, but it just doesn't make sense. I mean, it's just everybody would get a whole lot of text to their phone all day long, and it would wear on some folks. I know it would me if we had one generic phone line for everybody and we all got text throughout the day on our phones. I don't mind a few here and there. But anyhow, I just thought I'd pass that little nugget along because I think I got a text this morning. Somebody was listening to Chip, and I know I got a text the other day. Somebody was listening to either Andrew or Kim or something like that. But either way, let's see here. Mazda of Jackson phone line, 601-879-0002. Let me get my notes pulled up. Good morning to everybody in the comments there. Jake, Jonathan, good morning to y'all. Jake, send me your address again, brother. I did get the picture, man. I kind of shut it down on Sundays and don't do a whole lot of replying to folks. But Jake Hudson, send me your address again so I can get you those stickers. email it to me. I thought about that last night when I saw your picture. Let me see. Let me get my notes pulled up so we can get the show started this morning. Man, I watched the Cowboys documentary on Netflix this weekend. That is the first thing that I have binged watched in a while. So I'm doing this thing for like, we're just going to say 30 days. 30 days, no alcohol for 30 days, no going out, just sitting at home, behaving, working out, going and doing stuff, whatever. Just don't involve like going to bars and drinking. And y'all know I love to go to bars and drink. I'm never going to be the guy that just stops drinking. I like beer. Always have, always will. I'm growing a fond liking to good bourbon as well. That's not called Fireball, but I do love my Fireball. Anyway, so I'm just kind of in this little monk mode, I guess we'll call it, which I know that's corny as hell, but so I'm just like behaving for the next 30 days. I'm 7 days into it. Today makes the 8th day into it. So I was like, I'm sitting home and I'm going to binge watch this Cowboys thing. And then next weekend, football starts, so I'll have stuff to occupy me. There's no way I could have done this in the dog days of summer when there's nothing on TV but golf and NASCAR. I like NASCAR, and I watched 2 whole entire NASCAR races this weekend too. The Busch race or Xfinity race Friday night, which was friggin' amazing, by the way. And then the Cup race Saturday night, which was friggin' amazing, by the way. They got this new car. They got it figured out at Daytona finally, because both races were friggin' awesome. What's the guy's name that won Friday night? Klingerman. He don't even race. He's a an analyst or a host or whatever. He's in the booth for CW. Calls the races. He got put in at lap 13 for the guy that won last week and fell down and broke his collarbone. Was it Zilich, whatever? Anyhow, and he wins the damn race. And here's the crazy thing, and I'm going to get to this Cowboys documentary. Here's the crazy thing. He's won at Daytona twice this year and is not in the record books for either victory. He won the truck race in February and got disqualified over some improper equipment. Not his fault. That's on the crew chief. He just won the race. And then because he didn't start the race, he was the backup driver because the other guy had to start, which is crazy because the guy's got a broken collarbone, but qualifying got rained out. So he got to start on the pole. And if the other guy started the race, I guess because of points and this, that, and the other, the driver's got to start if he wants the points and everything. Well, I think he raced 13 or 14 laps. And then the other guy gets in and wins the damn race, driving for Dale Jr., who knows a thing about storybook endings at Daytona. So they're going to bring this guy out the booth, which it was planned, don't get me wrong, but they bring him out the booth, put him in the car, and he wins at Daytona. But because he was the fill-in driver, he doesn't get scored as the winner. He gets the check, and that's all that really matters. Anyway, and then last night was a wild race. I mean, not last night, Saturday night, but man, I'm finally getting back into enjoying some NASCAR again, and getting to figuring out who some of these new drivers are. Anyhow, let me get my notes pulled up. It takes forever to get Evernote to log in. Yeah, we're going to talk about the Cowboys documentary here. It was good, but I sat home and I just made myself, we'll just talk about it here for a second because this other story I want to get into is going to take longer than 3 minutes before our next break. Man, the Cowboys documentary on Netflix is 8 parts, I think. And yeah, it's 8. I highly recommend it. It's about the 90s Cowboys and when Jerry bought the team. And it's one of the best long-form documentaries I've ever watched. It's 8 parts. I mean, it's Tiger King good. Hey, look, y'all can chuckle all you want. I hear you. I see you laughing. Like Tiger King. Now, you know that's one of the best documentaries ever. Ever. So it's Tiger King level good. And they interview everybody. Everybody. I forgot all about Michael Irvin getting arrested for the cocaine and the hookers, or strippers anyway. And then in the middle of the trial, the FBI comes running up in there because there's been a credible death threat on his life, and the stripper that was in there with him that took the fall for having the cocaine, her boyfriend, that's a cop in Dallas, has then put a hit out on Michael Irvin for messing with his stripper girlfriend. Man, I told y'all Friday, these girls ain't loyal, whatever you want to call it. It's never. Let that be a great reminder that they ain't yours. It's just your turn. They're never yours. It's just your turn. But man, that documentary is good. It's got Jimmy Johnson, and I'm gonna tell you what, Jimmy Johnson I always thought got the bad end of the deal. Watching this documentary, Jimmy Johnson was the villain. Jerry Jones is the good guy. It's funny how the media, even in sports, back in the 90s, could twist and manipulate something to make you think what they wanted you to think. Clay, you know wrestling's fake. Yeah, so is the news. Even the sports news. Man, but if you got time and you love a good nostalgia pop, I highly recommend. Just sitting down on Netflix. I know, it's Netflix. We all canceled Netflix. But it's worth it. It legitimately is worth it. I mean, I'm motivated, by the way. Jerry Jones is one of us who just worked through ruthless aggression, relentless effort, bulldozed his way to where he's at. Did it his way. I was fired up. I text Sean and told Sean I'm changing my goals in life. My goals have been too small. They always say to 10x your goals, make them so big that people think you're crazy. And I hadn't been doing that. My goals, I think I've just been satisfied with just being a responsible adult. But this is where I get myself in trouble every time. Every time I get to where I'm really doing good, making more money than ever, whatever the case is, doing good, clicking on all cylinders, and I get unsatisfied. I'm never satisfied with just good enough. But you know what? YOLO. You only live once. You better make it count. I completely threw my goals out, wrote new ones down, 10x'd them, and we'll see. I'm either gonna be at the top of that mountain holding up that FAFO championship, or I'm gonna be back at the bottom, starting over again, fighting my way, scratching my way, clawing my way back to mediocrity. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, man, a big story over the weekend. We covered it on my Facebook page. MMA fighter Rampage Jackson's son, Raja Jackson, almost kills a man in a wrestling ring. Further proving that these folks have zero impulse control. And it just explains so much about the culture rot in a particular community. Let's take a break. We'll be right back here live from the Men's Health and Women's Wellness of Mississippi studios. Don't forget, today is Chicken Spaghetti Monday at McBee's on the Reservoir. Make plans to swing by and grab the plate lunch at McBee's, the blue plate. It is chicken spaghetti. We'll tell you more about that and others when we come back. This is the Clay Edwards Show. Welcome back in to the show. Let me get y'all's comments pulled up here on the screen for our live chat viewers there so we can make them part of the show. We were not streaming on Facebook. We got that fixed. I thought, man, those numbers look a little low this morning. 20-something people watching. Come on now. Better get it fixed, Clay. With that said, we are streaming in Stunning HD on Facebook, X, YouTube, and Rumble. You can find it. Search Clay Edwards Show or Save Jackson. It'll pop up. We're here live in the Men's Health and Women's Wellness of Mississippi studios. as always, men's health, women's wellness. Guys, get those complimentary testosterone screenings. Text. Make sure I give you all the right number today. I wrote it down in big, big letters here. Big numbers. 601-800-5130. 601-800-5130. Text Clay to that number right there. And they're going to text you back and they're going to say weight loss or testosterone. Pick which one works for you. Heck, you may be able to say both. I honestly don't know. And give it a try. They also are offering a peptide, Samorlin. It's a version of HGH. Do your research on it. Talk to them about it. I started it this weekend. Really excited about it. We'll see how it works. I took some pictures before, kind of before or day of pictures, whatever you want to call it, and I'm going to track it and see how it does. But the testosterone, man, it'll change your life. I ran into a buddy of mine yesterday who's been on it for a while too, and we sat there for about 30 minutes talking about it. Just good stuff, man. Really good stuff. I talk to y'all more about testosterone now than I do politics in Jackson. I am fine with that trade-off too, by the way. I'm A-okay with that trade-off. I told y'all last week, my dad, 76 years old, he's been on it 3 months, and he said it's been life-changing. He's got more energy, more motivation than he's had in probably a decade or so. So really excited about my dad getting his life back, getting his freedom back. So, all right, let's see here. Yeah, text Clay, 601-800-5130. All right, so I told y'all that I wanted to talk about a story that popped off over the weekend. I can't show the video. It's so violent, but it's on my Facebook. You go to my Facebook and scroll down, you'll see they'll let you get away with putting stuff in the comments. I don't think their AI runs the comments for stuff they don't like violence. But there's a post, I guess you call it a meme, whatever. It's a picture with words. I guess that's just a meme now. And it's got the description, and you'll see it. Just go find the video there. Just at SaveJXN on Facebook. I highly recommend seeing it. It's everywhere this morning. It is blown up. It is a major story as of this morning because the guy, I believe, is in a coma. They thought he was dead. He flatlined in the ring. So, Rampage Jackson, former UFC legend. His son, Raja Jackson, was a big streamer on the platform Kick. I've heard of it. I mean, there's Twitch, there's Kick, there's all these platforms. I mean, call me old-fashioned, but I'm a TikTok guy. Anyway, he was at an independent wrestling show over the weekend in California because, of course, it's California. Let me see. Let me pull it up here. And there's a wrestler. He had agreed to take a part in a stick, in a work, as they call it in the business. And that is where, it looks real, but it's planned. It's part of the show. And the guy, the wrestler, threw a beer can at him or something in the back. And that was he was supposed to later kind of get his comeuppance. Raja was. Well, instead of just getting his comeuppance, he gets in the ring and he power bombs the guy very well. I mean, the dude's a trained MMA fighter. I mean, he's Rampage Jackson's son. I mean, he's a dog. I wouldn't want to fight him, that's for sure. No impulse control. But then he gets on him, and the referee and the other wrestlers there aren't quite sure what's going on because, a good fighter, you can make your punches look real. Man, this guy, he knocks him out, and he gets on him and proceeds to bare knuckle punch him 22 times after he's knocked out. Because he was mad over this beer can incident that he agreed that was gonna happen. And he sat over there and fumed about it for however long. And when it was his time to get in there, they even hit his music to tell you it was part of the show. And he gets in the ring and flatlines this guy. And then there's a phone call of him, and he's streaming all this. This is all going to be used in a court of law. Well, of course, he is black, and it did happen in California. and the guy that he beat up was white. So he's probably going to get off. The white guy's probably going to end up with some charges for angering a black man. You got to know better than that. Whitey, you know better than that. You asked for it. You asked for it, like the guy in Cincinnati. You can't be getting robbed and say the N-word. They're now the defendants. I mean, they're now the victim. You're the defendant. You can't call a black person. You can't say the word. You can't say the word. That's illegal. They can kill you if you say the word. The blowback from that is going to be so bad. Y'all heard it here. I'm telling you. If you start letting black people get away with any form of retribution they want because they claim that you said the word, and that becomes a credible defense, you're not going to like how it plays out for them. You're not. I'm just telling you. That ain't gonna end well. That ain't gonna end well. Anyway, so he gets a call from somebody. He's like, man, you were supposed to just do a leg sweep. He's like, yeah, man, but he threw a beer can at me. He's like, well, you flatlined him. Like, he was in the ring dead. And they brought him back to life, I guess. But here's and we got a lot to talk. I want to unpack this because this hits on so many different levels of culture rot and low impulse control in that community. And it's just like nobody looks further than 30 seconds in the future. And it's nobody backs baby in a corner in live time. You're seeing what you've heard, the expression, nobody backs baby in a corner, low impulse control. And maybe you don't really understand what that means. This is that when you see that video. But here's Rampage Jackson's response to this. He released a statement. And what was crazy is there's a video of him, and he's a big streamer too, I guess. He's in a strip club with a gay guy. In a strip club with a gay guy. And he finds out on his phone that his son just basically killed a guy in the wrestling ring. This whole thing is weird. Uber weird. But anyway, so he says, I want to clear up some, here's their favorite new word, misinformation about my son Raja. Bro, there ain't no misinformation. We've watched it. I saw it with my own eyes. Anyway, I'll read and then I'll tell the whole thing. I'll give my opinion. Anyway, he says, I want to clear up some misinformation about my son Raja. I've been confirmed. What? Please, God, somebody teach these people how to use the English language. I've been confirmed. Were you up for a position in the cabinet? Anyway, he's been confirmed, y'all, that the wrestler Stuart Smith, a.k.a. Sicko Stu, is awake and stable. Raja was unexpectedly hit in the side of the head by him moments before Smith's match. Raja was told that he could get his payback in the ring. I thought it was part of the show. It was bad judgment and a work that went wrong. Raja is an MMA fighter, not a pro wrestler, and had no business involved in an event like this. I don't condone my son's actions at all, and here's where the excuse comes in. Got to have an excuse. He suffered a concussion from sparring only days ago and had no business doing anything remotely close to physical contact. As a father, I'm deeply concerned with his health and the well-being of Mr. Smith. That being said, I'm very upset that any of this happened, but my main concern now is that Mr. Smith will make a speedy recovery. I apologize on his behalf and to Kick for the situation. Again, now Kick is the streaming platform. Why is he apologizing to Kick? And see what they're doing there. He's already talked to a lawyer. You can tell. He's planted the seed that his son's concussion caused the low impulse. I cannot say impulse today. Low impulse control. It's a bad situation. It really is. We're going to unpack. So one of the things I kept seeing in the comments of this, and when other people shared the story, and this is something you see a lot when it involves young black men doing stuff like this. You always see people say it's a frontal lobe, underdevelopment of the frontal lobe. Now, I'd just been always hearing this. I didn't know. So I got AI. I just asked it bluntly. Do young black men have a frontal lobe development issue? And I know that sounds bad, but it was literally every comment that I saw mentioned the frontal lobe. So I was like, well, let's do some myth busting here. Is this a true story or not? We're going to tell you more about it. We're going to tell you what AI had to say about the frontal lobe being underdeveloped or not and causing low impulse control. This is the Clay Edwards Show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on WYAB. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show here live on WYAB in the Men's Health and Women's Wellness of Mississippi studios. Real quick, this segment brought to you by my friends over at UrgeVet. Guys, if you have any pet emergencies after hours or on the weekends, consider my buddy Spencer Mills, Dr. Veterinarian Spencer Mills. He's been on the show a couple times now. He's also the documentary filmmaker, one of the documentary filmmakers I had in here, was it Thursday last week? Anyway, just good folks, man. Good folks. Look, pet emergencies don't wait. Why should you? UrgeVet, Emergency Vets in Madison, offers low wait times and cutting-edge technology to provide fast, expert care for all household pets. Located at 15 Olympic Way, their hours of operation are weeknights 5 p.m. to 8 a.m. and 24 hours on weekends and holidays. That's right, 5 p.m. to 8 a.m. on weeknights and 24 hours on holidays. Give them a call, 601-790-1918, 601-790-1918, or follow them on Facebook and Instagram. Because, look, when it comes to your pet's health, trust the team that's reliable and compassionate. You want to talk about dedication? Dr. Mills, when he was here Thursday morning, he had just been at the veterinarian clinic all night because there was an emergency. A late night, all night emergency. And he didn't cancel his appearance here that morning. He came from there straight to here. I really appreciate that kind of dedication and discipline. And it just says a lot about his character. Let him take care of your animal if you have any issues. Man, I got a text. I want to go on a little sidebar rant here real quick. I got a text from somebody a second ago on the Guns and Gear text line. That number 769-241-1944. It was like, if you keep talking about things Mississippians don't like NASCAR and wrestling, nobody's going to listen. I went back and looked at some of his previous texts, and everything's just complaining about things we're talking about. I mean, it's just do us both a favor and change the channel. I mean, if there's another show on that covers politics, religion, or whatever else you want to hear at 7 a.m, by all means, don't let me get in the way of you listening to that. I want people who want to be here and understand that we're going to cover a lot of varying topics on this show. And I will never, ever force myself to talk about something just because it's in the news. I can't do that. That makes this too much like a job. It's called the Clay Edwards Show, which means it's going to be about things that Clay Edwards finds interesting and wants to talk about. And damn, you say that people in Mississippi don't like NASCAR and wrestling. I beg to differ. People in Mississippi love NASCAR and wrestling. I mean, it's like a joke around here. Rednecks and NASCAR and wrestling. What are you talking about? Mississippians don't like NASCAR and wrestling. Mississippians love NASCAR and wrestling. Mississippians don't like that. What Mississippi do you live in that doesn't like NASCAR and wrestling? And I'm just using NASCAR as a catch-all for motorsports. Every redneck in this state thinks they're a NASCAR driver. Hell, have you driven on 220? Ever? Especially at 6, 7 in the morning, the 6 to 7 a.m. hour? Brother, I'm telling you, everybody thinks they're a NASCAR driver around here. Anyhow, Sniper Monkey on YouTube asked, where is Master D? Man, I think we've finally run all the crazies off from around here. I just don't entertain and engage them like other hosts do. And look, God bless Kim Wade that he's got the patience to do it. I just don't have the patience for the crazy people. I don't find it entertaining. anymore. At least I don't watch it. It's entertaining when they do it on other people's show. I just don't find it entertaining for myself anymore. But I think we've ran all the crazy people off. They've established that I am the craziest one here, and they can't out crazy my crazy. So they've tapped out. They have tapped out. All right, so look, let's get back to this frontal lobe story here. So I just asked AI. We're talking about, if you're just tuning in, I know people are in and out of their cars at a pretty quick pace around here. We're talking about MMA legend Rampage Jackson's son, Raja, almost beating a man to death in a wrestling ring over the weekend. And then, I mean, you can say, oh, why are we talking about wrestling? This story is blowing up. This is a major news story on all the major news sites this morning. Not just wrestling. This ain't a wrestling story. This is a major news story. A man was assaulted and almost beat to death in the ring by a live streamer. So a black guy beat a white guy. It was a hate crime. If this was any other way around, this would be a hate crime. Black man brutally assaults and beats a white man for no reason in a wrestling ring. Again, could you imagine if a white man did that to a black man? Oh my God. Oh my God. But burning stuff down. But anyway, one of the biggest responses I kept seeing was, oh, it's due to lack of frontal lobe. So I just asked Grok, AI, I said, Grok, what causes low to no impulse control in, let's see here, in young black males in North America? Could it have something to do with an underdeveloped frontal lobe, as the internet has suggested? Now, I'm just asking the question because you got to do these prompts. So you got to be very specific. So I'm just asking it as all the commenters suggest. And we can rule that out, by the way. That's what I'm getting at here. It's not a frontal lobe issue. So, because I just look at that as an excuse. That is an excuse. Just like Rampage Jackson saying his son had a concussion. That is an excuse for bad behavior. This is not a birth. This low impulse. Dang it! I've screwed it up again. Low impulse control is strictly a cultural, nobody backs baby in a corner issue. This is not a birth defect. But anyway, its answer was, the premise of your question appears to rest on a generalization that black males in North America inherently exhibit low to no impulse control, which is a harmful stereotype without scientific backing. Population level data on impulsivity and related behaviors such as crime or aggression show variations across demographic groups, but these are overwhelmingly linked to, I can't stand this crap, social, economic, and environmental factors rather than race itself. Attributing such traits to an entire racial group is not supported by evidence and echoes outdated and pseudo-scientific ideas rooted in racism. I'll break this down step by step, drawing on reliable sources. General cause of impulse control issues. These are actually called impulse control disorders, ICDs, or challenges with impulsivity, affect people across all demographics and are not tied to race. They involve difficulty resisting urges that could lead to harm, and causes are multifaceted. Okay, true enough. But is it just my algorithm that only shows one particular group with low impulse control? I know it's not. I know it's not just my algorithm that only shows one particular group fighting over fried chicken on a Carnival cruise. That's a true story. We just hadn't covered it here because I knew if I did, I didn't feel like dealing with the blowback. But that's a true story. They got in a brawl on Carnival cruise because they ran out of fried chicken. You can't. The memes write themselves. Again, stereotypes are earned, not given. I mean, is there a better example of stereotypes are earned, not given? My God. Anyway, it continues that environmental and social factors. These are among the most significant contributors. Growing up in an environment with poverty, community violence, neglect, abuse, or chronic stress can impair self-regulation. For instance, low socioeconomic status and exposure to adversity in childhood are strongly linked to impulsivity in adults. I mean, did some white liberal write this? You know, because AI just pulls from the internet. This is all some crap some white liberal or CRT, critical rate? Yeah, critical CRT, diversity hire wrote. Anyway, so then it says neurological and psychological factors. Oh, this should be great. Changes in the brain chemistry, dopamine imbalances, hormonal issues, or structural differences in areas like the frontal lobe can play a role. The frontal lobe, particularly prefrontal cortex, is key for executive functions like planning and inhibiting impulses, injuries, epilepsy, or developmental disruptions. Here can lead to impulsivity. Well, I mean, doesn't that kind of back up what the question was? I hadn't read all this yet. I'm reading this in live time with y'all. Then it says genetic and temperamental factors. Some inherently exist for traits like impulsivity, but it's complex and interacts with environments, i.e., gene-environment interactions. I thought talking about genes was racisms. Anyway, mental health conditions such as ADHD, bipolar disorder, or substance use disorders often co-occur and exacerbate issues. In North America, factors like systemic inequality, discrimination, and access to resources can amplify these marginalized groups, but this is not a racial trait. It's a consequences of societal structures. Get the hell out of here. We got to take a break. We'll be right back. Some consequences of societal structure. Y'all are just putting words together that don't even go together anymore to make excuses, aren't we? Ooh, we'll be right back. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show on WYAB 103.9 FM. The segment brought to you by Lakeland Glass and Tint. Guys, they can take care of all your window tinting needs, whether it's home, car, or business. Check them out online for a free quote today. LakelandGlassandTint.com. Don't forget they do vehicle ceramic coatings for the ultimate protection from the Mississippi weather. Heat, ice, rain, snow, sleet. It'll protect it all. And I ain't going to protect you from hell. Anyway, check them out today. Also, they do vehicle wraps. Let them turn your vehicle into a rolling billboard. Or heck, maybe just change the color. My boy Chad going to put a flat black wrap on his new Corvette. Said he wants that matte finish. He sent me a picture of what it would look like yesterday. I'm like, heck yeah. And he told me in the text, of course, Lakeland Glass and Tint is going to do it. So check them out, LakelandGlassandTint.com. All right, man, we got about a minute left here before the top of the hour break. I don't think I want to get too much further into this topic. I just think that there's an issue going on in that community with impulse control, amongst other things. Now, clearly, Raja was raised by his father, and he just made a bad decision. I mean, I don't know how you decide to try to kill a wrestler in a ring. Hopefully he goes to jail. Attempted murder. It's aggravated assault. I don't know if California has quote-unquote attempted murder. We don't in Mississippi. We have aggravated assault. So hopefully they get him with whatever their version of that is. And he has been banned by the streaming platform. So we'll see. All right, man. Let's take a break. We'll be right back in 7 minutes on The Clay Edwards Show. Boom, shakalaka boom. You've tuned in to the Free Range Human Show of Choice, your daily dose of reality radio. It's hour 2 of the most incendiary show in all of America. And if that first hour doesn't stamp that as being verified, I don't know what does. We are not scared to talk about any topic around here. We have those quote-unquote tough conversations on the Clay Edwards Show. But hey, we try to back it up with facts and data, not just hearsay and the eyeball test. Which I think, honestly, everything should be passed by the eyeball test. That's how I know that these Democrat mayors are lying about their crime stats. Crime ain't down. Homicides might be, but crime ain't. Just because they're a bad shot don't mean that crime is down. It just means that we got a few more thugs still out on the streets. You know, you just know when you feel safe and when you don't. This segment is going to be brought to you by our friends over at Coral Wellness and Therapy. We're live in the Men's Health and Women's Wellness in Mississippi studios real quick. Let me get that out of the way. Coral Wellness and Therapy. Guys, I went over there Saturday. You know, I've been working out like 8 days in a row. Just crazy, like a madman, 2 hours a night. And I'd made Saturday, I said, I got to have a rest day. My body's, I'm 48 years old. I can't keep doing this 7 days a week, 8 days, 9 days. I got to have a break. So Saturday I made it a recuperation day. So I got up and I went over to Coral Wellness there at the township in Ridgeland. And I did the red light therapy for 15 minutes. Then I did the dry cold plunge. It's called like a cryo bed or something like that. And it had been broke. The compressor was messed up. And anyway, they got the part in and got it fixed, and it's back running now. So I'm not doing like the cold air cryo. This is like a water bed that they wrap around you. I put pictures on my Facebook and on my social media. You can go find it if you need to. And you get in for 8 minutes. You don't have to do 8 minutes. I started out at 5 minutes, then 6, then 7. Then I'm up to 8 minutes, which is the max that you can do in one sitting, I think. Man, and then I did the compression boots, the oxygen bar. Guys, for recovery from working out and just soreness, if you have back problems, just muscle problems in general, you're getting old and just constantly got lingering pains, I don't know that there's anything better than this type of work. I mean, this type of system. I mean, as far as like non-medicine prescription, you know, don't go get yourself hooked on painkillers trying to fight pain. Somebody asked me, so I originally started doing this because I hurt my back. And somebody asked me in the Facebook comments, is it good for back pain? And guys, I've had so little back pain that I forgot that I started this because I had back pain, which I feel like answers the question, does it help with back pain? Because I've got a bulged disc from a car wreck from years ago on my lower back, and that's what got me started taking pain pills when I did, yada, yada, yada. Because I have not had any flare-ups in my back in months now. So I think that answers the question. It helps so much that I forgot why I'd originally started going. Check them out today, Coral Wellness and Therapy at the township in Ridgeland. They have one-day packages available. They have monthly membership packages available. They have one-use packet, options. You just want to go in and just try it. They have pricing for that as well. They offer all the IV hydration stuff, all the IV injections, everything. They do all the kind of beauty stuff for women, all that stuff. Check them out, Core Wellness and Therapy. All right. I'm trying to figure out where I want to jump into. We're going to bring it local. Yesterday, by the way, we're at 8.5 million views on my Facebook page this month. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. We're at 3.5 million views on Instagram. So that's almost 12 million views on just those two social media platforms in the last 28 days. That's insane. I can't even wrap my arms around that. Wrap my head around that. Thank y'all so much for the support and what this radio show here does. It's insane. I mean, I hate telling somebody to change the channel if they don't like it. Like, I don't like running listeners away. But if you're not happy with what we do here, you're never going to be. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. You get with this show, whether you like it or not, what you get is raw authenticity. I don't have a filter. I don't know how to control that. You get 100% me. You guys know me as good as my friends and family do, because I get up here every day and I bear it all for y'all. I mean, this is not an act. This is who I am. It's me turned up to 11 a little bit. I don't actually talk like a madman, generally speaking. But, I uncork a character in here that's buried deep inside of me. but you're getting raw authenticity. So whether we're talking about wrestling, NASCAR, green dildos being thrown at WNBA players at 7 in the morning or whatever, you're getting what's top of my mind. And I do apologize if kids are in the car and y'all hear me talk about some of these topics, but look, at the end of the day, it's listen at your own risk. This is an NC-17 show. But I do appreciate that y'all let your kids listen to this, because I think that they're getting it from left-leaning and cultural assassins. You know, it's okay. Look, here's the thing. If the parent, you know, it is okay to talk about stuff. Because I'm not tracking kids down to talk about stuff with them. But I'm going to talk about whatever I want to talk about. If the parent's in the car and they choose to let their kids hear it, then so be it. That's on y'all. That's not my responsibility to censor myself because you may have your kid in the car. Just at the end of the day. So I feel like I like to throw that out there every now and then. You know, we support any and everything we can when it comes to that, but at the end of the day, this is an adult show, but hosted by a madman that has lived quite an interesting life. Not a very kid-friendly lifestyle for years and years and years, and those are the things that we talk about. So let's pull it back to Jackson, Mississippi. A buddy of mine sends me a lot of content because he doesn't want the attention. So he's all around Jackson all the time, and he sends me videos and pictures. And somebody messaged me the other day and said, man, you sure seem to be in the right place at the right time all the time. I was like, well, that's not actually me. I mean, I do catch myself in, you know, unique spots and places to get video, but my buddy is always running around Jackson working. So he sends me a ton of stuff. Well, yesterday, actually, he didn't see this himself. He saw this on social media, but so if you saw my post last night, about 8 o'clock, maybe 7, 8 o'clock, picture of a man laid out on 220. Well, there's a video that precedes that screenshot came from. And so there were reports that a man got kidnapped at the Walmart on Highway 18. Let me say allegedly, because I hadn't seen the news on this yet. I don't want to go rolling Walmart under the bus here. I don't blame none of this on Walmart. It ain't Walmart's fault that Jacksonians and culture rot participants use their parking lot for shenanigans. That's not Walmart's fault. Walmart ain't responsible for y'all not knowing how to act. Anyhow, read this text. My buddy says, shh, have you seen yourself on Fireball? Yes, you filmed me on Fireball. Hee-haw. So Jacksonians, anyway, there's a report that I can go into a rant about Jacksonians on any given time. So a man gets kidnapped from an older man in his 60s at least, gets kidnapped from the Walmart on 18, allegedly. And there's some people that are following. There's a witness that follows it, and he's filming it. And I don't know if I didn't watch the whole video because it wouldn't let me fast forward and I was working out. But long story short, the man gets thrown out of the dang car onto 220 going down the interstate. They didn't slow down. They chunked him out the car. And a bunch of people stopped, thank God, and attended to him and prayed over him. And I want to give those people props, man. They prayed over this man while they waited on paramedics. Now, I know WLBT and these people follow my platform. I follow theirs. I mean, we make content. I get good stuff. They get good stuff. Whatever. I haven't seen a follow-up story on this yet. I'm sure that we'll have one today. I hope. But what in the Democrat death culture hell is going on around here? An old man gets kidnapped from Walmart, allegedly, of course, and then chunked out like a deuce on 220. Like a piece of trash. A human being thrown out of a car like a piece of trash. They littered a human on the interstate, on the NASCAR track in Jackson, Mississippi. He is so lucky he didn't get ran over to boot. As I was making that post, I got a notification from WLBT about a 2-car accident where somebody got killed in Jackson or in Hinds County. I was like, oh, is this the same thing? Have I got my stories mixed up? Nope, that was another situation. God rest their soul. Guys, we got folks being snatched up at Walmart, allegedly, of course, and thrown out of moving cars on the interstate. I gotta know the whole story. Something tells me this was not a robbery. This had to be some sort of revenge situation. I'm just going to throw this out there. I want to know what that man did. What did that man do to that person or to that person's family for them to do that to him? Because I get big touch the kid the wrong way vibes from this. Now, I'm probably just dead ass wrong. So I want to say allegedly, and I'm not accusing anybody, but that's the kind of stuff you do to somebody that touched your kid wrong, that touched your little brother or little sister wrong, your nephew or niece wrong. Or maybe they just owed him some money. Maybe the dope boy caught up with him and he owed him some money. It could be as simple as that in Jackson. I mean, what's it called? What's it called when the most realistic, the most obvious answer is usually the answer? Something's law. Anyway, it's early in the morning. I'm not always clicking on all cylinders. Yeah, newsflash. So that's probably what it was. The old man probably owed him some money for dope, allegedly, of course. And they snatched him up, took whatever he had on him. Because in the picture, I can pull it up here real quick for the people watching online. This is really sad. I know I'm over here making accusations and generalizations. No, it's not Murphy's Law. Somebody texted in. It's something else. It's a more complex word. Let me pull it up here. Look at this here, guys. This is the man right here. If you're listening on radio, I know you're not seeing this. I apologize. But I mean, look at that. Let's see if we can. I got to take the chat off the screen so you can see it bigger. I mean, this is the middle of 220. This man laid up on the road. I guess he hit so hard his shirt fell off. Now, this is a church lady, a black lady, I believe here, in a white and purple dress with a big crazy hat on, and she's praying over this man. And this is just so moving to me that this lady gets out of her car and prays over this man on 220. Now, I know I've just did my whole spiel about how he could have ended up here, but all that aside, I would love to know who this lady is, and I want to give her I've got a $125 Burgers and Blues gift card that I want to give this lady. I got a few of them, and I know that's not much, but it's what I got. But I want to give this lady just something to say, just thank you for being a good person. Thank you for believing in the Lord. So I'm putting this out there. If anybody knows who that lady is, get in touch with me. Give me an address or something so I can mail her a gift card. But we're gonna have to prove it's her. I'm not mailing y'all a gift card. I know how some of you shysters work. Anyway, that's just another day in Jackson, man. We got some other stories similar to that I want to cover too. And if anybody, I do want to talk about these data centers at some point this week. If somebody can explain to me how these data centers work and how this billing on our utility bills is going to work, I would love to have this conversation, because I'll be the first to tell y'all when things are above my pay grade and just the simple understanding how it works, how we're getting charged for these Entergy things where they're the ones using the power. I I need to understand this, and I don't know how to understand it. So I need somebody to explain to me on a third grade level how this works. Why are we being charged for their power usage or the upgrade to the power so they can do these things? Because I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'm all about the jobs these things are going to bring, the construction jobs, and the property tax. I think Brandon's going to be getting nearly $3 million in property tax from this big development. But it's only bringing like 60 jobs. Now, those are going to be good, high-paying jobs, probably north of $150,000, $200,000 a year jobs coming to the area. But, I mean, is it really worth it for the amount of real estate it's going to eat up for one development? And I'm just asking. I don't want to be negative here because I'm all about the economic development. But, like, long-term, are these things really good for the communities they're putting them in? When they don't really hire many people at all based on their footprint. I mean, a footprint that size should have, at minimum, 500 jobs or more. Thousands of jobs. I mean, think of how many people that Nissan employs. And these things are eating up more real estate than Nissan. Just a thought. Let's take a break. We'll be right back here on the Clay Edwards Show. Not trying to be negative. I'm all about it. But my utility bill ain't. My pocketbook ain't. What are going to be my benefits? I guess $2.5 million, almost $3 million in property tax. We can have some more law enforcement, keep our neighborhood safe, pave a few more streets. I guess that's how I benefit from it. The price you pay to play the game. All the more reason we don't need no damn school choice coming from Jackson to Rankin County. We pay into cost for these data centers. We pay into cost for this property tax increase. Not property tax increase, but for the profit the city's going to be getting from the property tax. That's coming out of our pocketbooks, our utility bills. Let's take a break. We'll be right back on the Clay Edwards Show. Welcome back in to the show. Here live on WYAB, streaming worldwide and Stunning HD at Save JXN on Facebook, X, and YouTube, at Clay Edwards Show on Rumble. Make sure you're following us on Instagram, TikTok, X, at Save JXN, or at Clay Edwards Show. We've got a lot of social media platforms. You'll find one. Hit the follow button. You'll most likely see it. This segment brought to you by Cameron's Garage and Cypress Point Resort. Guys, it's the blue plate out there today is Meatloaf Monday. That just rolls off the tongue good, doesn't it? Meatloaf Monday. Tomorrow, the ribeye steak sandwich on Fridays has been in such high demand that they're now offering it on Tuesdays as well. You've seen me talk about it. You've heard me talk about it. Try the ribeye steak sandwich from Cameron's Garage on Tuesdays and Fridays. 16 ounces of straight fat-infused ribeye on a fresh-made bun there in stock. Let's see here. Don't forget, this weekend is the huge Labor Day blowout at Cameron's Garage and Cypress Point. There's going to be a festival all weekend long. There's going to be single day and weekend passes available. Going to be outdoor stages, multiple outdoor stages, indoor stages, bands, all day and night, Saturday, Sunday, and I believe Monday. I'm efforting the details now, but if you're looking for something to do this Labor Day weekend, look no further than Cameron's Garage and Cypress Point for their Labor Day weekend music festival. It's going to be awesome, guys. Lots of great bands and more. We're going to be telling you all about it all week long. And, yes, I will be out there in some form, fashion, or another. So check them out today. Cameron's Garage and Cypress Point Resort. So much to do out there. Gosh dang, I could just spend a whole show talking about all the different things to do. And maybe we can get Kelly or Mo or both to come in here and do just that one morning this week. Let's see here. All right, so I found that documentary I was looking for on the data centers. It's 14 minutes long. I'm not going to play that here in the second hour. What I will do is play it in the third hour. We have 3 hours today. So if you'll stick around with me in hour 3, at the top of the hour at 9:07, I was going to do all sports that hour, but we'll kick it off talking about the data center. And there's a great CNBC article, video on YouTube. I did share the link in the comments there. Don't go jump into it just yet. You still got some Clay Edwards show to listen to. But if you want to be able to go back and listen, the link is in the stream here on the show. I say it's about 14 minutes long. It's a Bloomberg. I was thinking it was CNBC, but it's Bloomberg did it. It's so funny. We got a crazy person that keeps calling the show. I mean, she's certifiable nut job. And I just refuse to continue to platform certifiable nut jobs. But the phone has rang no less than 100 times this morning from the same person calling from a private number. I mean, we know her phone number. We know who it is. She's certifiable psycho, needs to be in Whitfield. He just wants to get on here and spew hate, and we ain't going to do that. We ain't going to platform hate on this show. We ain't going to platform hate on this show. Shanae Jenkins. So let's see here, man. The other stories that I wanted to hit this morning. Oh, yeah. Here's one. 2.5 million people. I know y'all have seen this, right? The truck driver, the illegal alien that California gave a CDL to. Governor Newsom should 100% be put in prison for this. Somebody other than just the driver should have to pay the cost with their freedom and their bank account for this guy being given an illegal alien being given a commercial driver's license. I can't get a commercial driver's license because of my sight. Not only am I deaf in one ear, I'm legally blind in one eye. Same reason I couldn't get in the military. I can't get a CDL. But an illegal alien can prance his little ass right on over here, get a CDL, and I'm sure y'all have seen the video of the family of 3 being brutally murdered. Because that's what this was. This was a murder by this soulless, illegal alien. I don't even want to talk about aliens like that. Illegal immigrant. This soulless bastard. See if I can find the video for those that haven't seen it. I'm typing it in now to X. Illegal alien. Yeah, all I had to do was type in illegal U-turn. It pulls up immediately. Let's see here. See if this pulls up right. I mean, it's just devastating what happened. Wow, somebody was filming it. No, that's another one there. Okay, here is the video that I was looking for. I mean, guys, if you haven't seen this, buckle up. And I know radio, I apologize, but I'm working towards something here, and I just got to properly set it up. Man, I opened up Fox News, and it has crashed. It has brought my computer to a screeching halt. Screeching halt. But let me see here. I'm pulling something up. Y'all bear with me. I got it all on my phone. We can divert. Where's my history? Pulling back up Grok here. So 3.5 million idiots in America have signed a petition for this man to be freed. What are we doing here? What are we doing? I wrote something out here, man. I wrote something, and I want to make sure I get it to y'all right. So I'm pulling up what I wrote on my phone. So I apologize for taking a second here. It just blows my mind how I can't ever find what I'm looking for when I'm looking for it. It was literally the last thing I wrote. Put it in my notes. All right. Okay. For the love of all that's holy in this godforsaken clown world we're living in, listen up, you bleeding heart, virtue signaling, and open border apologist. We've got Harjinder Singh, a 28-year-old illegal alien who snuck his way into America like a thief in the night, behind the wheel of a big rig, pulling an illegal U-turn that turned a Florida highway into a slaughterhouse. 3 innocent Americans, 3 wiped off the face of the earth in a fireball of twisted metal and shattered lives. Twisted metal and shattered lives. And what does this genius face? 3 counts of vehicular homicide, staring down the barrel of up to 45 years in prison where he belongs. But no, that's not enough for the woke brigade. Nearly 2.5 million morons, probably a mix of Hollywood elites, tech bros from Silicon Valley, and Fondren snowflakes with a change.org account, have signed a petition begging Florida Governor Ron DeSantis to go easy on the guy. Collective Punjabi youth started this garbage fire, whining that he's only 28 and deserves a slap on the wrist because what? Life's tough for illegals? Boo friggin' who? Tell that to the families burying their loved ones right now, you heartless hacks. This is the rotten core of America's immigration disaster laid bare. Reward the lawbreakers, spit on the victims. Singh shouldn't even be here. He's an invader, plain and simple, accused by the Trump administration of gaming the system and now playing demolition derby with American lives. But instead of deporting his sorry ass back to wherever he came from, we've got millions playing defense attorney for a killer. If this was your mom, your kid, your spouse turned into roadkill by some border jumper's recklessness, you would be signing petitions for Would you be signing petitions for leniency? Hell no. You'd be screaming for justice, for walls, for enforcing for enforcement that actually means something. Wake up, America. This petition isn't compassion, it's complicity in the destruction of our nation. DeSantis, if you're listening, sorry about what I said about you back during the election. But if you're listening, DeSantis, throw the book at this punk. Make an example and tell these petition pushers to shove their sympathy where the sun don't shine. Build the wall higher, deport them all, and let's start putting Americans first before more bloodstains on our highways. Anything less is treason to the dead. Wrote that last night. And rarely do I read things. Rarely do I write anything in advance. But I wanted to make sure that I didn't forget any of it. We have got to continue, because I think we're doing it. I think we're going in the right direction. We are beginning to hold people accountable in this country. Unless they're on the Epstein list. That's another fight for another day. I want to see this bastard fry. This is the Clay Edwards Show. We'll be right back. Put it on pay-per-view. I pay $59.95. We'll be right back. To the Clay Edwards Show here live on WYAB. It's a 3-hour show this morning. Coming up in the next hour, we're going to circle back to the AI data centers and do some sports talk. I want to circle back to the sports talk thing for a second. You know, my buddy Bobby texted in, so I got to give credit where credit's due here. He texted into the Guns of Gear text line, 769-241-1944. Yes, he texted my cell, but same thing. He said, a guy that don't like NASCAR and wrestling needs to text Clay to 601-800-5130 and get his testosterone levels checked. Because clearly, he's suffering from low T if he doesn't enjoy a little NASCAR and wrestling talk. You know, we do talk about stuff like that on the show, but I was using it. The NASCAR talk was wasn't really breaking down the race. It was to set up it's a good story. It was a good story about not giving up on your dreams and taking advantage of opportunities given to you. The guy that was in the booth last week calling the race got asked to fill in and be the backup driver for the guy that broke his collarbone, and he won the dang race at Daytona. It was his dream. He had never actually taken a checkered flag and got to keep the win. Earlier in the year, first race of the year at Daytona, he was a NASCAR truck guy. Won the race, but got disqualified after they found a faulty illegal part or something on it. And got a chance to get that win back. It's just a good human story, a human interest story. Y'all always get on me about, Clay, you don't ever talk about good news. Well, that was a good news story. That was a cool story. So we're going to talk about stuff like that. I love that never give up, overcoming adversity stuff. I don't care if it's NASCAR or pickleball. You know, if it makes sense, we're going to talk about it. You know, I don't know. It's been grinding my gears since that guy sent that text in talking about, change. You're going to lose listeners if you keep talking about NASCAR and wrestling in Mississippi. Where do you think you are? What do you want to talk about? I mean, real talk. Well, let's talk about this. Let's talk about Trump, Big Daddy Trump. Should Trump send the military into Jackson? I think he should. I mean, I know, look, everybody's still, the honeymoon with John Horn ain't over with yet. But I think what John Horn should do right now, two things. I would invite the military in. Mr. Trump, we would love to have the military come and get these future rocket scientists, engineers, and possibly even an astronaut or two under control. Build an alligator Alcatraz here. What would our version of an alligator Alcatraz be here? I got an idea. What do people fear more than alligators? Jackson. Put a concentration camp, whatever you want to call it, right dab in the middle of the bottom. Over there off Clinton Boulevard, between Clinton Boulevard and Northside Drive. Or over there off Medgar Evers. Anywhere like, some of the California Avenue. Build it in the neighborhood, in any neighborhood that has a street named after a state in it. Over off McDowell Road. I mean, just slap dab in the middle of a neighborhood. Put a concentration camp right there. And I swear before God, right hand on the Bible, wouldn't not a nan one of those illegal immigrants try to escape out of there. Like, keep me in here. I don't want what's on the other side of that fence. I ain't trying to walk through South Jackson. Hell to the no. Send me back to Guatemala or wherever they're from. Venezuela. Send me back to Mexico. Baghdad, Iran, Iraq. I don't know the difference. Israel is the only one I know the difference of. I'm told there's a conspiracy theory there. I'm told they control everything. It's the only reason I know who they are. You wouldn't have any escape immigrants out of an ICE detention center if you put it in Jackson. In some of the worst parts of Jackson. Well, I mean, that's all but like 10% of Jackson. But seriously, so all joking aside, actually, that ain't a joke. It's funny, but it ain't a joke. So, what is it racist for Trump? So that's the thing I keep seeing on this is racism's sending the troops into these black cities. Black Lives Matter, damn it. Black Lives Matter. This is racist. Who to who? Who do they matter to? Not to other black people. unless they're killed by somebody that ain't black. Then they suddenly matter. I mean, stats don't lie. Y'all do not have a lot of respect for the value of human life or the value of a black life when it comes to each other doing the killing. You know, I just mind-boggling to me that you could sit here and say that President Trump trying to save black lives from predominantly black criminals is somehow racist. Washington, D.C. just went a whole week without a murder. Jackson didn't. Washington, D.C. did. Jackson didn't. Washington, D.C. did. President Trump, send in the troops. If I'm John Horn, I'm on the phone right now. And I would also be on the phone with Shad White saying, Shad, we want to open up the books, come in and do an audit of the last administration's shenanigans, and then just put it all out there for the world to see. And then that way, Horn can wash his hands and actually have a true excuse for the debacle that he's having to clean up, to be able to show people just how bad it was. My question is, John, if you don't do it, why not? Are you scared of the backlash? You scared that it won't play well with your base? Would they take your black card if you turn on a black man and turn him into the Shad? I want to know. People want to know. We'll be right back on the Clay Edwards Show. Clay Edwards Show. We got about a minute here for our top of the hour, 40 seconds for our top of the hour break. We're here for a whole nother hour this morning. You know, on Mondays, it's a 3-hour spectacular on the Clay Edwards Show. Sometimes we have a guest host, or not a guest host, but sometimes we have a business owner here. But starting next week, it's going to be a sports show, the college football recap show with Steve Robertson from Gene's Page. But that's next Monday. Today, we're going to be doing a whole nother hour of what we do, incendiary talk radio. Don't go nowhere. See you in 7 minutes. Boom, shakalaka boom. It's hour 3 of the Clay Edwards Show. This morning here live on WYAB 103.9 FM, all throughout central Mississippi. Getting ready for a big old upgrade there. And currently streaming worldwide live at Save JXN on Facebook, X, and YouTube, and on Rumble at Clay Edwards Show. We're in the Men's Health and Women's Wellness of Mississippi studios. This segment brought to you by our friends over at Mazda of Jackson. That's right, Mazda of Jackson. You can reach out to those guys for all your new Mazda needs. Swing by, check them out in person at Briarwood Drive there on 55. And, of course, Jackson. You can shop them online, MazdaofJackson.com. Did you know that every new Mazda comes with a free maintenance plan for 1 year? That's right. Your oil changes, all that stuff covered for 1 year with Mazda Jackson. Did you also know that every new Mazda sold comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty at no cost to you? That's why it's called a warranty. That's why there's no such thing as an extended warranty unless they give it to you for free. Those are called service plans. Anyway, I digress. Check them out. Check out that new CX-90. Awesome vehicle. Crossover SUV. Before you go commit to any of these higher-end brands, I don't know, not calling Mazda not a high-end brand. You know what I mean. Some of these more established vehicles you're used to, Toyota Highlanders, stuff like that. If you're considering something of that nature, go by and see the CX-90 in person first. Nissan Pathfinders, Chevy Blazers, anything, that midsize SUV. Swing by and check out the CX-90 first, and I bet you will desire it more than the others. Gorgeous vehicles. Mazda of Jackson. Shop them online, MazdaofJackson.com. I got to cut the air down. It done got hot in her. The show's on fire this morning. All right, I said I was going to play a video about these data centers. This is about 14 minutes long. We're going to have to split it into 2 because there's no way I can run that over. I'm going to take your comments off the screen here. And if you're listening on the radio, you're fine. It's not anything you need to see. But there's been so much questions about these data centers, and Bloomberg actually did a really good job putting this together. This isn't about the ones in Mississippi. It's about, I think it's over in one of the Virginias, because they're pretty high above sea level. So they're getting hit with a bunch of these things because they're not as likely to get hit by natural disasters. But this is the effects that it has on the communities immediately around. It's pretty interesting stuff here. Here we go. This is called The World Needs AI, but there's a problem.
This is kind of where we are now.
This is what they're talking about. It's not in the sky. It's right here.
Anytime you touch an icon on your phone, anytime you book a flight, or anytime you watch a movie at night, you're using a data center.
There's a big division in the county about how data centers impact their lives, and I think that we've gone overboard.
We're trying to get balance. We know we need data centers. This phone I'm holding in my hand right now uses data centers, but that's not the point.
We're here in Northern Virginia because it's the red-hot center of data center development in the entire world. About 13% of data centers globally are here. A full quarter of the data centers in the U.S. are right around us here in Northern Virginia. If you care about the reliability of the electric grid, climate goals like shutting down coal plants, if you care about the development of AI, all of that is happening right around us.
If we can't figure out how to get it right here, how are they going to get it right anywhere else?
We're driving to Gainesville, where we're going to meet with a woman who lives right next to a data center development called Village Tech Park. It's been criticized for being basically too big, too close to homes, and there's another big development planned on the other side of her, so she feels just sort of besieged, kind of surrounded by these big data centers. Hey, I'm Josh.
Ari, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Seeing the change over the years has just been drastic. We knew the shopping centers were going to come. We didn't mind those, but the data centers has been a complete shock for us residents here and in the area in general, because the train is coming. And that's gotten louder.
How has it gotten louder?
Because there used to be a lot more trees lining it.
Oh.
So by them taking down all the trees, it's become a lot louder.
Would you ever consider moving?
Yes, we are looking to move. Shortly after they started talking about the data center, we talked about it, but unfortunately I have a child who is in school, so we decided to stick it out until she graduates and then relocate someplace different.
So people sometimes ask, why is Northern Virginia the data center hotspot for the entire world? And the reason is that in the last century, data processing companies came here because their customers, government agencies in DC, were here. So they built data processing facilities. And then as the internet developed, there was a good fiber network here. There's a really strong, reliable, and relatively cheap power grid. So data centers can hook up to electricity, which is the juice they need. There's fewer natural disasters here, knock on wood, and lots of open land. There's also been some tax break laws passed to encourage data center development around here.
When I got into the sector in the mid-90s and I was selling internet access, every office in America I went into had a data center. It was called a computer closet. And as kind of the internet grew and people realized, I can't have this critical data, this application, in some room where there's a pipe overhead and it could burst at any time. And that's what gave rise to third-party data centers where customers could rent space and put their equipment in a purpose-built master plan type of building that would ensure that their data, their application would survive, 100% uptime, would always be powered, would always be cooled.
Come on in.
Wow. How tall is this?
This is about 20 feet up. When it's all said and done, we'll be 3 feet higher in the space.
Okay.
Because that's where all of our cold air is going to be coming under the floor into the servers.
And that's why you need so much electricity.
Correct.
Also.
Yeah.
And how many square feet is this?
This is about 20 to 21,000 square feet.
Wow.
So we'll have 10 data halls that are around the same.
So about 20 in my apartment, 20 in my New York City apartment.
Yeah. New York City, it might be a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
So over here is called our cold aisle containment system. This is where all the cabinets are landed and lined up.
Why do you need a cold aisle? Why's it got to be cold?
We have to make sure that they stay cold while the servers are all on inside of each rack. We have to make sure all the output that they're doing is staying as cold as possible so they run efficiently.
How much electricity would this whole room consume?
Once this room is at full capacity, it can go up to 4 megawatts of power.
Okay, 4 megawatts. Help me out with that. Well, how many homes could that power?
Yep, so if we break it down, 1 megawatt could power about 3,000 to 4,000 homes. So this could power up to 12,000 homes.
Wow.
I want to pause it real quick and just say that these places don't have any people inside them working. They just don't create that many jobs past the initial construction, which is going to be great for the local restaurant, hotel business. I was telling a friend of mine yesterday, I wish to God I owned a bunch of land and could get approved to put a RV park and rent RV spaces to people, because these things are going to have so many construction workers from out of state. And I do have a problem with that too. I would really prefer see these have to go to in-state companies. But hey, whatever. It's capitalism. There's upsides and downsides to it. I'll take the bad with the good. Continuing.
So what are we going to see out here?
So right now we're on the roof of this data center. You can see it's filled with what we need to cool down all of those crack units or computer room air conditioners we saw inside the data hall.
Okay.
So these are called ACUs, or air conditioned compressor.
They're kind of noisy.
Yes, they're very noisy. That's why we kind of have the walls.
Okay.
Kind of boxes in the sound.
Okay.
Because we keep the residents in mind. So we try and make sure the sound is as buffered in as possible. They would be louder during the summertime.
I was going to say, it's kind of cold. We should have brought our jackets.
Yeah.
Why are they even running right now?
So they're running on what's called the free cooling mode, which means it's using the outside air instead of...
Just big fans. They're big fans.
Big fans.
Why is it so important that you have power continually? If you didn't have power and the data center just shut down for a couple of days, why is that a big deal?
In data centers, we have healthcare, we have transportation, we have government. Imagine a government shutdown, how chaotic that is. Something like that happens in a data center, nobody can send an email, nobody can work. Everyone loves to have the day off, but it has such a huge impact on the neighborhood, the city, the world.
I was elected in November 2023. I wanted to run because I disagreed with the direction the county was going in, particularly with land use and with the placement of data centers. The good thing, data centers do generate revenue. And last year, when we raised the CMP tax rate, we generated more money, for the county and for our schools. But everything in moderation. For us on the Board of County Supervisors, I'm saying we have to be the traffic hump. We cannot approve a data center any and everywhere. These are industrial warehouses. They shouldn't be next to homes, schools, national parks. They should be in areas that have enough power to run these facilities. The land we give to data centers is land that other businesses aren't able to purchase. It's also land that, we're not able to use for housing or retail or any other developments. Virginia is a beautiful commonwealth. It's very scenic. We have so much history here. I'm afraid that that's going to be lost if we're just giving in to data centers' demands.
When you talk with legislators today, be clear that we're not against data centers. We want them to be better.
Our morning started really early in a really cold, really dark parking lot where we met a group of data center opponents, and we all got on a bus to travel here to Richmond, where they are lobbying their lawmakers for what they would call responsible data center development.
In transportation, there are speed limits, there are safety standards, there are noise limits, and we're here to lobby about an industry in Virginia that is overwhelming us, and there are no laws and standards.
We traveled with one woman, Elena Schlossberg, who's sort of at the center of this fight, and she's been going toe-to-toe with the biggest data center developers for about the past decade.
That's really something I want to message to the legislators, is the history books are being written right now. And the question is, what do you want the history books to say about you? The first year we went, nobody knew about data centers. What's a data center? The next year we went, suddenly people are starting to go, oh, there's maybe something about data centers. Oh, so the Legislative Review Commission report finally came out. And my favorite word was unconstrained. Unconstrained data center development is what is risking our reliable energy, our clean air and clean water, the health and well-being of the state of Virginia.
So we're here in Data Center Alley.
This is Data Center Alley. This is around 20 million square feet of planned data center development. The Digital Gateway, you know, that looks so beautiful? 23 million square feet of data center development. I mean, look at the size of these buildings. They are massive. And this is not enough, by the way. They've got to build all the transmission, but we don't even have the generation to plug the transmission into.
You can see the substation, the electric infrastructure here.
Yep, it's everywhere.
So here's another data center, here's another data center.
One after the other. More transmission lines, one after the other, substation, one after the other. What we see happening here in Virginia is becoming a national grid problem. It's magical thinking, how you are going to meet this kind of power demand never seen by mankind before. We are at the precipice. And now is the time. There's no more excuses to hold.
All right, we got to take a break right there. Don't go anywhere. I'm trying to get the buffering situation fixed up too. I've edited, I X'd out of some other windows I had open. This is really interesting stuff, and I believe the same exact problems that they're having in Virginia are going to be the same exact problems that we end up here. We got a lot of data centers popping up here in central Mississippi. It's great for the economy short term. How is it going to affect our quality of life long term? Those are things that are yet to be known. We got about 7 more minutes of this video when we come back. Don't go anywhere. This is the Clay Edwards Show on WYAB. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show here live on WYAB. Let's go straight back to the video we're watching about AI data centers' effects on local communities. This is a video that Bloomberg did on YouTube. We got about 7 more minutes of this, 5 more minutes of it. Here we go.
The wealthiest corporations in the world accountable for the energy they need for their business model.
So hyperscalers are the big tech firms like Google, Microsoft, and Amazon. Some of those types of companies want to build data center campuses that use 5 gigawatts of electricity. That's a huge amount. It's as much as entire cities like Miami or Atlanta. Right now, Virginia, where Data Center Alley is, uses about 5 gigawatts of electricity for all of its data centers. That's a lot, and enough to power about half the homes in the state. So the power company that has to generate and transmit all that power, Dominion Energy, they say that this trend is going to continue and that data centers in development in its pipeline are going to require another 40 gigawatts. Globally, the picture is the same, just with way bigger numbers. There's 7,000 data centers built or in development across the world, with energy consumption that's expected to top 2,900 terawatt hours annually by 2034. That's almost double what the entire country of India uses each year. A terawatt, by the way, that's 1,000 gigawatts, and a gigawatt is enough to power about 750,000 homes. So the world doesn't currently have enough electricity to meet all of that demand, and that's a problem. In interviews with tech leaders, data center developers, energy companies, they say that there's years-long wait for businesses to connect to the electric grid, and it's also threatening Silicon Valley's efforts to lead the race to develop artificial intelligence.
How did AI change data centers?
The power requirement. As soon as the power is available, it's taken. So as soon as we can get power into a building, AI is all over it.
AI has turbocharged data center demand. It really happened over the last 2 years. I like to think about it as, pre-ChatGPT and post-ChatGPT, right? Pre-ChatGPT, you had strong data center demand that was being driven by technology adoption. Right? If you think about what a data center really represents, it represents the foundation for technology adoption. And all of a sudden, ChatGPT came and people saw this technology and were like, wow, this is going to change the world. And we need to figure out how to adopt it. And this particular technology has a unique characteristic, which is it can't run on CPU infrastructure, which is what the world lives on. It's the type of computers that are in your home or in your office today. It has to run on GPU infrastructure, which is kind of a parallel processing type of architecture, obviously most famously known by NVIDIA. And because the power factor of these GPUs is 5x, 10x the power factor of a regular data center CPU rack. It's driven this incredible demand for data center capacity. So I do think it's going to impact sustainability goals over the short term, and we're going to be using a lot more fossil fuels. I think it's kind of inevitable unless someone wants to put a pause button on this. But ultimately, it feels like the utilities are committed to a long-term renewable future.
Are there parts of data centers that you see as valuable or that you see as necessary? I mean,
100%. And it's not about being anti-data. I like data. I like technology. But to allow it to grow with just no constraints, no guardrails, no accountability. The reality is that the community is the ones that are being asked to sacrifice. And so something has to change.
My vision of the future is mixed. We're at the beginning of in my view, a multi-decade, multi-century engagement with technology. It's the first time, certainly in human experience, that we've had this amount of power at our fingertips, and kind of things are accelerating, right? But I would hope that we don't lose our humanity in that respect, and that we still want to engage with the world beyond the digital screen, beyond the digital experience, that, you know, the real experience is still better than a digital one. And I certainly hope that we as a species make good decisions.
All right, so I know there was some, I know if you're watching online that it was freezing up there. I apologize, nothing I can do about it. At the end of the day, it's a radio show first, a internet show second. So I know that we had some issues there. But hey, that's why I put the link in there. You said no sound. I don't know, whatever. Anyhow, these data centers. Man, it's just a lot to be determined on these things. They're big, boxy buildings. Now, they're putting this one in, the one in Brandon. I'm going to speak on that one because it's a block from my house. I'm pro for this stuff. I mean, we do have to have it. If they're going to go somewhere, I mean, I just assume they'll come to Mississippi. But I do have a problem with what they've done with Entergy and it affecting our bills. And, man, they take up such a huge footprint. You know, I'm trying to see big picture here. I'm trying not to be, you know, old dumb redneck that can't see the big picture. But I'm having a hard time understanding why this should affect our power bills. I guess it's a supply-demand deal. If we want power, we got to pay for it, and they got to build more power to maintain these things, but they seem to be a huge drain on the businesses. Did y'all hear that part they said about it's taking some businesses up to 1.5 years to get online? You know, so maybe I'm completely wrong on this. This is just, again, my little brain that doesn't do this kind of stuff, trying to wrap my head around it. So let's just say out in Brandon, they build a big new neighborhood. Well, does that neighborhood have to wait to get put online, power-wise? Is it going to affect, you know, new commercial developments, how quick they can get online and get power? That's what it sounded like to me. I'm just really curious. I need to get somebody on here. If anybody knows anybody that really understands how all this stuff works and can come in here and explain it to us, I would love to have them on the show and try to make this make sense for me. So a lot of unanswered questions about these data centers, and them, you know, normally you would say, oh, it's a bunch of liberals upset about it. Man, I don't know, man. I'm not talking to a bunch of conservatives that got a lot of questions too, and these are a lot of smart people that I know, and even they're having a hard time understanding the long-term consequences of these things. And I can't help but go a little Skynet here and think that we are ushering in our own demise by giving these machines, these supercomputers, the power to destroy us. I know, oh, Clay, you're being a conspiracy theorist. Man, the conspiracy theorist batting average is really good. If we were baseball players, we'd be the greatest of all time. So I think it's okay to be a little conspiratorial. I don't know what the conspiracy is necessarily. I don't think that humans are intentionally developing technology that would be our demise, but I think the race to have the power of AI and to be to have the most powerful AI and to beat places like China and other countries, I think that we've taken the guardrails off and we're not thinking about the long-term ramifications of this stuff. I mean, look at our poor friend Sean Yurtkuran. He's completely addicted to ChatGPT. I mean, it's like he might if he could have a wire, a USB from his phone to his brain, where he don't even have to ask ChatGPT anymore. It would just think for him. He would do it. I mean, we talked about it on the show the other day. He admits that it's a problem, and I'm picking at Sean a little bit here because I love him, but I am concerned about people having an AI addiction, and that's just the personal assistant version of AI. And look, I use it every day. I pay $50 a month for my Grok, for my X Premium account. Now it comes with more than just Grok and access to Super Grok, which I mean I'm honestly probably overpaying, but your boy got to have that blue check mark. Too many fake Clay Edwards accounts out there saying dumb crap, trying to say it's me. So I got to have one that stands mine apart from those. But I don't know, man. Lots of questions. I'm really concerned about this stuff. Multifaceted, but my understanding is Brandon is going to be getting about 2.8 million a year in property taxes from this development. I mean, that can fund the police department. That can pave a lot of roads. That can do a lot of infrastructure work. What they need to, they're going to do that right there. The state needs to come on in a 4-lane Highway 18. That needs to be part of this deal. Let's get Highway 18 4-laned. I mean, it's going to be crazy over there. But look, man, if you're Steven Siler and you own Burgers Blues Barbecue, if you're my friends that own El Portrillo, if you own a restaurant in Brandon right now, if you own those hotels they're building in Pearl, not building, but the Pearl, those hotels, they're going to be loaded up with out-of-state construction workers. Brandon, the couple hotels we got, going to be loaded up with out-of-state construction workers, rental property. My brother-in-law owns a bunch of rental houses. I know several people do. They're going to do very, very well with short-term rentals. I say short-term, I mean like 1 year type stuff. But the restaurant business is going to boom. If you're 042 Wine and Spirits, you got a bunch of construction workers posted up in Brandon for a year. I mean, it's going to be a big, big boom for the local economy while construction is going on. It's once construction ends that concerns me. But maybe what you see happen is, one project breeds another project, and then they see that Rankin County and Brandon are here to do business. They're here to play well with others. And maybe it can turn into a 10, 12-year construction boom. And it just stays. We'll see. Caller, stay on hold. We got to take a break. We'll be right back on the Clay Edwards Show. We'll go straight to the call when we come back. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show. So good to be with y'all for 3 full hours this morning. It gives us an opportunity to really take a deeper dive into topics. And if it was up to me, I'd fire everybody in the 9 to 10 hour throughout the day on that station. But it's not up to me. I am kidding, by the way. I would only fire Chip. I'm kidding. Anyway, I do enjoy being with y'all for 3 hours. A couple days a week. Like I say, it's nice to have that extra hour, to have a little elbow room to make up for the commercial time that we lose in the first 2 hours. But real quick, speaking of commercials, we do have to pay the bills around here. My good buddy right downstairs from me here, Shelter Insurance Agent Extraordinaire, Jamie Creel, is waiting on y'all to call him so he can check those rates for you. Have you not done it yet? Has your credit gotten a little bit better over the last few months? Have you paid off a credit card? You keeping up with your credit on one of those credit apps? Like, what's the one I use? I'm just having a brain fart right here. Credit Karma and others. You get those notifications that tell you that your credit can affect your rate on insurance. If you're paying your bills on time and you hadn't checked your rate in 6 months, a year, you are giving away money that you shouldn't be giving away to your insurance company. Reach out to Jamie Creel. Let him run it for you. See how much money he can save you. He's my personal insurance agent, so I'm speaking from a place of personal experience here. I hadn't, luckily, knock on wood, I hadn't had to use him. I do got to reach out to him about some health insurance this week. That's right. They can handle health insurance as well, life insurance, all of it. It's time to get Jamie back on here. We're going to make that happen this week. Jamie, if you're listening, let's make some time on the schedule this week. But check them out. Got 2 locations to serve you right here at the Cotton Exchange Plaza in Flora and right next to Fleet Feet in Ridgeland. That's Jamie Creel, Shelter Insurance Agent. So I asked Gronk. Oh, let's go straight to the phone. I said we were going to go to the phone. I'm sorry. Forgot I had a guy on hold on the Mazda Jackson phone line. My apologies. Thank you for staying on hold. What you got?
Yeah, good morning, Clay. My name is Ed. I live in Rankin County. Just wanted to say that if you want a real good explanation about this data center power situation, you need to talk with Wyatt Emery, the publisher of the Northside Sun.
Thank you for bringing that up. He did a great piece on this a few weeks back.
Yeah, he's been writing about it for the last 3 or 4 weeks. And what it boils down to is Energy buys this equipment, and they put it in the rate base, and they're guaranteed 10% on it, and they give the data centers a cut rate deal on the power bill that they pay. And the Public Service Commission couldn't do anything about it. I think the governor and some of the big shots negotiated this deal, and then the small businesses and the consumers all have to pay more. And it amounts to about, I've been told, a 35% increase in your power bill.
Mine's gone up about $200 a month from last summer to this summer.
Well, they haven't gotten all the equipment built and in the rate base yet, so it's going to be a lot worse.
Ugh. All right, brother.
Anyway, I just thought I'd call and give you a heads up on that.
Hey, thank you for ringing my bell on that. I'm going to reach out to Wyatt today and see if we can get him on the show.
That'd be great, man.
All right, brother.
I enjoy listening to you.
Hey, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that.
All right, have a great day.
You
Thank
as well.
you. Bye-bye.
Man, I love a good normal phone call like that. And normal is a compliment, by the way. So I went to Grok. I pulled a Sean Yerk run. I use Grok. He uses ChatGPT. I tend to forget that we do have the answer to a lot of this at our fingertips. So I simply asked Grok this. I like to let y'all know what my prompt was so you understand the answer that we get. The exact way I posed the question was, Grok, are the AI data centers in Mississippi going to make our energy bills with Entergy of Mississippi go up? If yes, what is the reason? Here's what it said. It's about 1 minute and 10 seconds worth of reading here. Yes, the development of AI data centers in Mississippi is likely to contribute to higher energy bills for Entergy Mississippi customers in the coming years. The primary reason, and this is the important part, the primary reason is the enormous electricity consumption of these facilities, which strains the existing power grid and necessitates significant investments in new infrastructure, such as additional power generation capacity, transmission lines, and upgrades to handle the increased demand. These costs are typically recovered by utilities like Entergy through rate increases that are spread across all customers, including residential and small business users, rather than being fully borne by the data center operators alone. For context, Mississippi has attracted over $20 billion in data center investments since early 2025, including Amazon's $10 billion, I got to do my Dr. Evil, right? $10 billion project in Madison County, AVO Digital's $6 billion AI-ready campus in Rankin County, Brandon, and Compass Data Centers $10 billion. Okay, I'll stop that. $10 billion campus in Lauderdale County, Meridian. Combined, projects like Amazon's alone could consume 50 to 100% as much electricity as all other Entergy Mississippi customers, homes, businesses, and industries combined, leading to an estimated 19% overall increase in system-wide demand from just 2 such facilities. Entergy has stated that while data centers like Amazon's will bring economic benefits, residential rates are already rising due to necessary grid investments, and these large-scale users exacerbate the issue. Analysts and local reports warn that without policy changes, this could result in higher bills for Entergy's approximately 384,000 residential customers, similar to trends in other states with data center booms, where utilities pass on the cost through secretive contracts or capacity charges. For instance, one study linked AI data centers to 63% of recent price hikes on the nation's largest grid, PJM, a pattern that could play out in Mississippi. As of 2025, Entergy rates remain about 20% below the national average, but projections indicate upward pressure from these developments. And there's a lot of links here to different sources, but it says it right here. Through secretive contracts or capacity charges. Why are these contracts secretive, bruh? Let's see here. Magnolia Tribune has an article, Bad Energy Policy Represents Risk to Taxpayers. There's some good stuff here. I'm not going to dive into all of it. It's just too much. Let's click on the Magnolia Tribune article here. This is way too lengthy to get into, but I'm interested there. Who wrote that for them? Kelly Williams wrote that. So I don't know, man. I mean, they're coming. So we might as well embrace it. But man, I mean, you're talking about having to make lifestyle changes to accommodate bills that high. I mean, I had to go through my apps the other day. You guys aren't commenting anymore, so I'm going to turn the live stream off. Not the live stream, but the comments off. Like I said, I had to go through my all my apps and stuff, my subscriptions online and everything the other day, and I canceled over $100 a month and stuff. And I'm fixing to cancel more. I think I can probably cancel YouTube TV. No, I can't. I got to have Red Zone channel. I'll have to wait till after football season to cancel it again. But like that new ESPN app is $30 a month. And that's to be able to watch college football, WWE, all that stuff. I don't know. Yet to be determined if I'm going to do that. I don't know. I probably will because I like those pay-per-views. And of course, the UFC is going to Paramount. So I'm going to have to make sure I got Paramount. I do have Paramount, but it's going to go up. Anyway, that's a whole nother show. My bill was averaging around $300 a month last summer, and it is bouncing between $400 and $500 right now. Now, granted, I had 2 more people living in the house, and they were washing, which meant more clothes being washed, more clothes being dried, more people in the house. But dang, I keep the air cold, so that, it ain't like people were using the air more than I was. So I don't know. I got it back down to just 2 people in there. Made a few changes, keeping the air on 73, 74 when I'm not there. So I'm interested to see what my August bill is going to be. But the last 3 months have all been north of $400, well north, closer to $500, with the most recent unpaid bill from last month sitting at $500. I don't live in a big house. I mean, about 1,600 square feet, something like that. I mean, it's big enough, 3-bedroom, but still, that is a lot of money. And people are going to have to make real budget changes. I mean, if you're living paycheck to paycheck like most folks out there, your utility bill doubling, especially if you live in a house with a family and it ain't just you by yourself, where you can cut a bunch of corners, not wash a lot of clothes, I mean, for the first time in my life, I've really turned into my dad. Every time I leave a room, I cut the lights off. I'm only washing dishes when the dishwasher's full. With the exception of last night, I bought a crock pot from Fireman John, but I got to take it back, which of course, now that I say it, I left it I washed it on a half load to walk out and forget it this morning. Of course I did. With that said, we got to take a break. I said Fireman John, get by 042 Wine and Spirits. Fireman John's Bloody Mary mix, locally made, or locally owned anyway, locally created, is now available at 042 Wine and Spirits in Brandon. I went by Friday for the launch party, and he made some meatballs, like the kind you have at parties, just frozen meatballs that you get at Costco or Sam's or wherever. Throw them in the crock pot. Instead of barbecue sauce, he poured a container of his Bloody Mary mix. Guys, if I'm lying, I'm dying. These meatballs were so good that when he got ready to leave, because I wouldn't leave him alone, he let me take the crock pot of meatballs home with me. And very few went to waste. I did end up throwing the last little bit away just so I wouldn't eat every damn one of them. But my goodness, even if you don't drink Bloody Marys, you got a tailgate party, a birthday party, any kind of party where you need some cocktail meatballs, little appetizers, finger foods, go get the Fireman John Bloody Mary mix. He's an award-winning Memphis in May grand champion with barbecue sauce. He knows a thing or two about it. We'll be right back to land the plane for the day.